We are so fortunate to have Tara Davis come and speak to us. I'm just going to hit on some of her highlights. She was a 4-year starter and an All-American basketball player, not only in basketball, but track. I believe you won the state title in soccer.
Track.
How close did you get in soccer?
We won Metros and then made it to district.
So a 3-sport athlete, basketball, track, and soccer. I watched Tara. My husband went to Rainier Beach High School, and he's a professional Rainier Beach fan. That's what I call him. But I've been watching Tara since you were in high school, and then Tara went to UW. So she led the Vikings to the state basketball tournament 4 consecutive seasons. So we're talking 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. Led Beach to its only, it says, Metro soccer title as a defender. And named a Converse All-American in your senior year. In college, played for UW on a basketball scholarship. Then she had the nerve to join the track team as a senior and won the Pac-10 long jump title. She was a member of the Seattle's first professional basketball franchise, and me and my daughter used to go to those games. What was that? Seattle Reign?
Yes, it was.
It was the Seattle Reign.
First Reign.
Yes.
The Reign before the storm.
And this is what I'm really proud of. First African-American woman to serve. You're the director now.
I am.
The director of athletics for Metro. Yes. And recently inducted into the WIAA Hall of Fame. Will be.
Yes.
Okay. Tara Davis. Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me. This is an honor to actually come before you guys. This is awesome. When I was growing up, your age, who's the youngest? The youngest is...
We had a second grader here.
Okay. So I can tell you, growing up, we didn't have something like this. We didn't come together. We didn't celebrate one another. We just played because we wanted to. It was something that we could do. Title IX, I don't know if any of you have heard of Title IX, but Title IX, we're in 50 years of Title IX, and it offered young ladies an opportunity to participate in athletics the similar way that boys did. I can't say same, because when I was a senior in high school, when I started high school, I was not allowed to do the triple jump. Girls could not triple jump until my junior year, okay? So a little bit about me. I was born and raised here in Washington, South Seattle. I lost my father at a very early age. And so I was 8 years old in my family unit, where my father, he was the breadwinner and my mom was the domestic. All of a sudden we became a single parent household. For us, what that meant, I don't know what that meant actually at the time, but I can say now, looking back on it, it was a very tough time in my life. And I had athletics as a way, kind of an equalizer for me, to participate, to build additional family unit, sisterhood, as we call this, as you guys in your theme. But that's how I built a lot of my friendships. I was shy growing up. I was... what's the word? I'll say shy. I was shy growing up. And for me, athletics was a way where I could build friendships, where I could meet new people, where I can get out and actually do something and find success in it. And so, like I said, I lost my father very early, and I was angry. And I didn't know why I was angry, but I was just angry. So imagine, and I don't know if any of you young ladies have felt it, but just angry, mad, frustrated. I was 8 years old. And the anger and the frustration and the anxiety that was building in me, I was able to release that through my participation in soccer. That was my first sport at 4 years old. So I played soccer on my sister's team. She's 2 years older than me. And initially they told me, "You're too young, you can't play." I'm like, "What do you mean I'm too young? I'm tall as her." I thought that's all that mattered. And it wasn't until they gave me the opportunity, one of the coaches said, "You know what, that's fine, she can come." And they open the door, as some of your coaches have for you, open the door for you to have an experience. And for me, that was my first sign of, you know what, I want to do this. I want to be a part of something. And so at 4 years old, I started with soccer. At 7 years old, I started with track. I didn't start with basketball until I was 12 years old. So for some of you, you're already ahead of me. So just think about it. For those who are 12 and under, you're in the right place. All right, you're building sisterhood. You're understanding responsibility. You're understanding what dedication means. Because sometimes, how many of you, by show of hands, how many of you don't feel like going to practice all the time?
It's okay. Go ahead.
Hey, it's okay, right? Guess what? Do you still go?
Yeah.
Right? That's responsibility. That's dedication. And so for me, it was a matter of being part of the team, feeling that dedication at an early age at 4 years old, and then using the gifts and skills and talents that I was born with and developing those even further. Not all of us are created to do the same thing. Guess what? We're unique. We're individuals. You see somebody else and say, I want to be like them. Don't want to be like them. Be your best self. Because you know what? You can only do you the best. And so with that, I was able to compete not just in soccer, not just in track, but then I found myself competing against myself. I'd run to the store just to see how long it would take me. And then I try to beat that the next time. I'd see a hill and say, I wonder how long it'll take me to get up that hill. I know it's kind of crazy. How many of you have done that? Seen something and said, I wonder if I could do that, and giving it a try. Okay, so if you haven't, I need you to start. All right? Push yourself to that limit. See something, and it might be intimidating. It might be scary. It might be something that you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do it. But you know what? The first time, you might not be able to. The second time, might not be able to. Third time, might not be able to. But you know what? You keep doing it until you succeed at it. And that's what I did at a very early age. From the time, like I said, from 4 to 7 to then 12. And what I found is that anger that was inside of me, I was able to release it on the soccer field, on the track, on the basketball court. I was able to build relationships, friendships with people that I might not have talked to in any other circumstance. I was able to understand that me all by myself, I was okay. But when I became part of a team, it just felt better. That sisterhood, that fun, the laughter, the joy. And then I found myself not so angry anymore. I found myself not so scared to try new things. I found that, you know what, if I just put one foot in front of the other, I don't know, maybe it might work out. And I can tell you, it didn't work out all the time. Not at all. Not at all. I'm not sitting here before you because I've had success after success. I've had a lot of failures. I've had a lot of hard times. I've had times where, you know, I wanted something so bad. I thought I worked so hard. I prepared for it. And guess what? You heard Coach talk about 4 years in the state championship at Tacoma. I don't have a state championship, though. 4 years I went. I didn't come home with a championship, not one time. I'm still a little bitter about it. Still a little bitter about it. But what it did teach me is the perseverance and the dedication. And you come back and you try again. My freshman year, we went to the state tournament. We got 5th place. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to work hard. We're not going to get 5th place. We're going to do this. Came back, sophomore year, state championship game. We were winning. You guys know the outcome. We were winning. And then last 2 minutes, we ended up losing to Lakeside.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it hurt my heart. I can tell you. My junior year, came back again. My coach, he was a great coach. My coach, he believed in everybody. If you're on the team, you have an opportunity to play. So he would sub 5 at a time. First 5, second 5, sometimes switch it up. We were up by 20 in the state championship game. If you're up by 20 in the state championship game, yeah, exactly. If you're up by 20, oh boy, I don't know. But if you're up by 20, you believe we got this, right? We're gonna go home with a W. I can tell you this, when you're up by 20, you never stop until the game is over. You never stop. Because what we did was we had a false sense of, we got this, we won. And I don't know, something inside of us, we just took our foot off the gas. Yeah. And in taking your foot off the gas, sometimes you miss the mark. And so for all of you, when you're working hard and you're trying and you think you've arrived, you keep pushing. Because I can tell you this from experience. When you don't and you fall short, it hurts. And you want to blame somebody. And you want to look at your teammates and say, well, you didn't do this, or you didn't do that, or you didn't do this. At the end of the day, it takes 5. Basketball is not won or lost by one person. It's all of you, right? And all of you, when you see that somebody's taking their foot off the gas, hey, we're not done. Game's not over. Let's go. Let's go. We have to do that. That's what being a good teammate is about. That's what sisterhood is about. It's not, oh, I don't want to say something because they may get mad at me. No. You're saying something to encourage each and every one of you to do your best every single time. And that's how you learn. They say, practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. You can practice the wrong thing, and now you're creating the wrong habit. And so, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, we're ready. We're ready to go. We're number 1 in the state. That's how we're ranked, number 1 in the state. What I can tell you is when you lose the first game, the highest you can get is 5th. And so what we did my senior year, lost the first game.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is this. Even though you work and you give 110%, you may not get the outcome that you want, but you know what you are getting. It's all about the journey. It's all about what you are capable of. It's all about, am I giving 110% each and every time? Each and every time. And you all are part of this wonderful organization, this wonderful sisterhood. You come together, you've had your time. And can you ask yourself, or can you say, I've given 100% each and every time? Can you say that? Think about it. Because here's the thing. If you can't say it, it's okay. Because now you know, right? All we can do is move forward from where we are. And where you are right now, you're learning, you're growing. What habits are you going to put forward? Ask yourself, what is your work ethic? What are you going to dedicate to yourself? What are you going to commit to? Each and every time. I'm going to tell you, there are times I didn't want to practice. Like I said, we all know that, right? By a show of hands, we all pretty much say, yeah. But even in those moments, how do you push yourself? Okay? So that's high school, now transition to college. I received a full ride scholarship to University of Washington to play basketball. Now, what I will tell you, for those who want to play Division I, Division II, or want to play in college, college is a higher learning institution. It's still school. So what you do on the court, 100% on the court, it's 100% off the court. Some of you, and I don't know, I mean, maybe we're all 4.0 students. I wasn't, but that's something now that I reflect on and say, what could I have done better? So I want to share that with you. Are you given as much dedication on the court as you are, or on the court and off the court? Because we're student athletes right now, all of us. You young, from second grade to 12th grade, you're student athletes. Student comes first. Your parents' job is to push you in this area. It's to push you in all areas. Remember, we're individuals. Your job is to be the best you can be. Sometimes we look at this thing called social media and we get really enthralled and focused on what other people are doing. Oh my gosh, look what they have. Oh, look at this, and oh, look at that. How about, oh, look at you? Let's not get busy watching somebody else's life. Let's get busy living our own life and building ourselves up to be our best self. College, I can tell you, it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. You know, I say that about being a student athlete because I didn't have somebody telling me outside of my mother how important education was. What I've learned now and where I am is the more you learn, the more you can earn. Y'all hear that? The more you learn, the more you can earn. And so I always knew that I needed to get an education, to get a job, to have success, but I never translated my education into a career. No one told me about the education piece, and then that translates into a career. And so for young ladies, for women in this environment, in some areas of in industries, it's tough to break in as a female. The adults in here, the women in here, you could probably shake your head on that and say, yeah, it is. There are going to be people who tell you, oh, no, that's not for you. What are you going to do with that if they tell you that? Are you going to believe what they say about you? Are you going to know who you are? Because you've been building yourself up and living your life to the best. I can tell you this, I had no clue. Right now, I'm the director of athletics for Seattle Public Schools. We're the largest school district in the state of Washington. I have 11 high schools, 22 middle schools that we manage. If you told me when I was in high school or even in college that that was an opportunity and possibility, I would have said, huh? What? Never thought of it. I thought I would coach. I thought I might be a professional athlete. The person I looked up to growing up, Jackie Joyner-Kersee. She was a phenomenal track and field athlete. Some of you may or may not know. She has, good Lord, how many gold medals? Yeah.
Olympics.
Yeah, Olympics, exactly. And so I thought if I'm not going to be a professional athlete, I am going to coach because I like to give back. I like to empower. I like to inspire young people because I recognize what athletics did for me. It opened doors. And so I just wanted to do that. I thought maybe teach, but then I thought, oh my goodness, these young people, it's tough. They don't listen. How am I going to do that in this environment? I was one of them. But I can tell you, when I was in college, I didn't have anybody telling me that. So my whole goal was to finish school and get a job, not a career. There was no opportunities for professional athletics outside of track and field for women. We didn't have that. We didn't have anything to aspire to outside of seeing women in roles of a coach, maybe as a teacher, and at anything athletics, it was always a coach. It was never in administration. And so I say that to you now because it's important for you to understand that you can be whatever it is that you think you want to be. Okay, what the mind conceives, the body will achieve. Think about it. What the mind conceives, the body will achieve. So if you're busy looking at somebody else's life, you're not thinking about what you want to do with your own. And trust me, it can be a fun one. You never know what doors will open for you. I got to travel the world because of athletics. I lived in another country because of athletics. I've seen or I've met a multitude of different people because of athletics. And so you never know what your participation in this can do for you, what doors can open for you. So think about, and I really need you to think about putting your phone down sometimes. I don't know how many of you, this phone thing it's like this walking distraction. Okay, it's an interruption into your life, into what it is that you like to do and you like to see. So I would encourage you, I don't know how many of you are on it and playing games or looking at social media, but the life you want to live and see is yours, not anyone else's. So texting amongst each other, that's great, right? Building each other up, that's great. But looking at how many likes you can get, looking at how many streaks you can get on Snapchat, that's a thing, right?
Sure.
Right? My son told, wait, you're going to mess up my streak. I'm like, well, what is that? I don't know what that is. Is that a thing? Yeah, see? Yeah. So guess what?
And that thing is?
It's like consecutive times on there. So the more you're on, then the more you get streaks, and then the more you're wrapped up into it.
You teaching me.
Okay.
Picture back and forth to each other.
Yes.
Days in a row.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
It's at 100. We did it back and forth 100 days in a row.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so I bring that up because the distractions, it's exactly that. It's not allowing you an opportunity to live your best life because you're constantly inundated with somebody telling you, hey, this is important, or this is cool, or you need to be on this, or you need to be on that. But then if you're not on it, then sometimes you feel like you're left out. You feel maybe sad, or you feel like, oh, well, nobody cares, or, this doesn't matter to them. But why does it matter to you? Okay? Think about it. Why does it matter to you when the life you're living and the choices you're making should be determined by the home environment that you're part of, or the groups that you're part of, and the teams that you socialize in and that you participate in, the sisterhood that you're building, not what somebody's doing halfway across the country or down the street or wherever else, and they did something cool, and now you're feeling like, well, I want to do that cool thing. Guess what? You're already doing a cool thing. You're here. That's a cool thing. And so allow yourself an opportunity to grow up in that and not be distracted at all. Because I can tell you, my collegiate years, we didn't have those distractions. The idea of caller ID was something that was coming out. Caller ID, you guys are like, well, what's that? What's that? Well, what it is when somebody calls, you could see who's calling. We didn't have that back then when I was your age. Am I dating myself? Okay. It's real. It's real. And so some of the things that you have grown up with when we were your age as adults, and some of the adults in the room could probably say, we never thought about it. And the cool thing about not thinking about it is that we didn't have that distraction. We were able to focus and be present in this moment and not distracted by things because, as you heard, my phone went off a couple times, but I apologize for that. But have you ever been in the middle of something and then you get a ping or ding or something and you were really focused and then all of a sudden you get focused on that? Yeah? Okay, guess what? That's taking you away from what's going to help you to be your best self. And so, like Coach said, yes, I participated in basketball. We made it to the Pac-10 tournament all 4 years that I was there. We actually beat Stanford at their, at their home.
Connecticut back then.
Yes, they were. They were. And I can tell you they had a 63-game home winning streak. And this is the year they were the national championship. They won the national championship too. So they were 30-1 that year. Yeah, we were that one. I'm just, we were that one. We got them. And I can tell you, the beautiful thing about that experience is that to go and we beat them at Stanford. So we went into Stanford, we beat them. It was a last second shot. We hit it. We win by 2. It would have been a
Overtime.
Thank you. Overtime. It would have been an overtime game. But instead of overtime, we were victorious. And to beat them at that time, when they were national champions, to understand the dedication, and Val, she'll be here because Val Whiting, I actually played against Val in college, and so she remembers that one. But we can talk about that when she gets here. But we were co-Pac-10 champions that year. And then they went on a lot further than us. They won the championship. But to come back to that, the success of that day, we together, that's something that I still talk to my teammates about now. And this is over 25 years ago.
Something like that.
Okay. Yeah, something like that. I can't remember. But I share that story with you because what you're building now, the people you are meeting now, they can be lifelong friends. The sisterhood is real. And when you're going through something and you're working your tail off and you have success and failures, it means something. Fast forward, my collegiate experience, I finished up with basketball. They asked my track coach, the track coach came out and said, "Hey, do you want to run track?" And I thought, well, do I get a scholarship for that? And he said, "Sure." Okay.
The double scholarship.
Well, it wasn't. I finished basketball.
Oh, okay.
Basketball was over. Then the next year, yes, I came out.
I got track.
I came out and did track. And I can tell you, in high school, I was a four event athlete in track. I did both hurdles. I did long hurdles, or 100 hurdles, 300 hurdles, long jump. And then I ran the relays my first year. And my second year, I tried high jump. But then the third year, my junior year, is when they allowed girls to participate in the triple jump. So my first 2 years, I could not participate in the, that was high school, sorry, in the triple jump. But fast forward now, collegiate, they said, "Hey, you want a hurdle?" "No, sir, I don't want a hurdle." Hurdles in college, instead of 300 hurdles, they're 400 hurdles. 300 hurdles. 300 hurdles I won as a freshman in high school. I hated those hurdles. Sorry. There's no way to get around that. But I ran them all 4 years because I won as a freshman. In college, I knew there was no way I was running 400 hurdles. But they said, "Okay, well, you got the jumps So we'll train in the jumps. So I came back to train only in jumps. Now, I didn't know at that time that I would actually do well because it had been 4 years. But I came out, I worked hard, I was stronger, and I won the Pac-10s in the long jump, but also in the triple jump, I got third place. But that third place mark was enough to be the school record at University of Washington. So I held the school record at University of Washington. That record actually just got broken recently. Okay. Fast forward to that, there was no professional basketball. And so what I did after school, I graduated and I started working in the school. I knew I wanted to give back. I knew I wanted to just work with young people to help motivate them, to empower them, to say, you know what, it's hard, it is, but it's worth it. And be careful what you say to yourself, because you might believe it. So when you say, and there's no way I can do that, well, guess what? You're right. There's no way you can do it, because mentally you've put this block in your head that you can't do it. The person that says I can and the person that says I can't, well, you're right. So which one do you want to be? You want to be that person that says I can or the person that says I can't? And there are times when we try new things and we believe that we can't do it. I can tell you this. The first time you try it, you might not have success. That doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means that first time it didn't work out. But you know what? In anything, to have success, perfect practice makes perfect. So you get out there, you already know what not to do. Now let's start practicing on what to do. You change and you keep working at it. That's the goal. You change, you keep working at it until you get to I can. And that's what I did. I worked with students at Renton High School, at Lindbergh High School, at Hazen High School. I had students who came to me who said, Miss Davis, I can't do this. Well, what is it that you can't do? Well, this is too hard. Okay, it's hard right now, but guess what? You're asking for help. Asking for help is not a bad thing. Not asking for help is a bad thing. And if anyone makes you feel bad for asking for help, that's not on you, it's on them. That's the only way you learn. As young people, your job, guess what? Is to learn. It's to learn how you learn, to learn about new things, about new experiences. It's to put yourself out there even when it's uncomfortable. There's a saying, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Think about it. How many times have you thought about trying something, but you're like, no, I don't want to do that, and then didn't? I encourage each and every one of you now, if it's something that you want to do it. Don't worry about what anyone else is saying. Because remember, you can only do you the best. If somebody says, well, I wouldn't do it that way, well, great, because you're not me. I'm me. I have to do it. And two things are going to happen. Either you're going to succeed or you're not. Not succeeding is not failure. It's just learning what not to do the next time. People say, oh, I failed at this, I failed at that. No. You just had an experience of what not to do to get the result that you're looking for. That's not failure. It's just learning what not to do. Now, if you go and do the same thing and expect a different result, well, you know what we call that?
Insanity.
There we go. Yes, I was come on, adults. I know you. So doing this, doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Think about it.
Change it up.
Change it up. How many times have you tried something and it didn't work? And then guess what? You go back and do the same thing. And you're like, man, it didn't work. But you know that. That's the part of learning. You learn what not to do if you do the same thing. That's called hard-headed. Have any of you been called hard-headed before? I have. Just full transparency, okay? And trust me, hitting your head in the same place saying it hurts, it does. It does hurt. But for you, it's about doing something different to get a different result. Okay? So, when I was at the high school working, they announced that a women's professional basketball team was going to come out. It was the ABL, the American Basketball League. And I thought, wow, okay, I want to do this. At the same time they made that announcement, it was also the same time that they had the Olympic trials. Now, I made it to the Olympic trials in track.
Decisions.
I know, decisions. But what I can tell you is that the Olympic trials in track, I didn't have a coach. Basketball, I knew what to do. So I made the decision to go to that tryout. And there were 509 women that went to that tryout. And they dwindled that number down to 90. And I was one of those 90 that was left. And I got drafted to the Seattle Reign. And so if you think about those odds, and if you think about the opportunities, sometimes it looks daunting. Sometimes it looks real scary. Sometimes you say, there's no way. How am I going to make it? Well, I can tell you this. If you don't put yourself out there, you know you won't make it. It's kind of like you can't miss shots you don't take. A good shooting percentage, 50%. That means you miss half of those shots. So for some of you out here, I don't know if you've ever been in a game, ever had an opportunity where you're playing, you miss a shot, you're like, then you miss the second shot, you're like, oh no. You miss the third shot, and then you start putting your head down. You don't want to shoot anymore. Guess what? You gotta keep shooting. You gotta keep trying. You gotta keep putting yourself out there. And with the idea that the next one's going in. Because when you say, man, I keep missing, well, guess what? Probably keep missing. But if you miss, and you say, no problem. The next one. I'm going to make this next one. You know what? You will. Keep putting yourself out there. And so the Seattle Reign, wonderful opportunity. The first women's professional basketball league here. And I can tell you, we played during the traditional basketball months. Right now, the WNBA, I know they start May.
Yeah.
And then go through the summer.
Yeah.
But we started at the same time, and this is when we also had the Sonics. So, yes. So they would play in the Key Arena, and we would play in the arena. Our night sometimes might be the same night, but we had this wonderful opportunity to participate in the same traditional basketball months in the same months as traditionally basketball participates in. And I tell you that because, not to put anything down on the WNBA, but I still believe that if we put the same dollars into the WNBA as we do into the NBA, then we would have more success. From there, I worked in the corporate world for 16 years. 16 years, I did sales, I worked as a real estate agent.
I didn't know that.
I sure did. I know. I worked as a financial consultant with Solomon Smith Barney. I was the only African-American person in my office in Bellevue back in 2000. And being in that environment and managing money, it's a tough space to be in when it's male dominated and white male dominated, because you feel like a fish out of water. And so where's your sisterhood? Where's your camaraderie? Where are your people? And I can tell you, the fortitude that I had, the work ethic that I had put in, I knew I belonged in that space, but I still didn't have this sisterhood. And at a certain point in working in sales and working corporate, I had started a family as well. And my son asked me, Mom, do you like your job? And at that point I said, my answer was one that an adult would give in a diplomatic way, was it affords us an opportunity to do what I can for you guys. And I really had to stop and think at that point, am I living my dream? Am I living my passion? Am I doing these things that really are a part of me and make me feel fulfilled? And that's when I went back to school. I got my master's in education leadership policy, as well as emphasizing athletic leadership. And then I started working for the school district, Seattle Public Schools. Now, I can tell you, I'm in the athletic office right now. That wasn't my first job. My first job, though, was at my alma mater. I was at Rainier Beach High School. It was pretty awesome, I can tell you. I thought that this was the right space. This was the right place for me. I was a family engagement specialist. I was able to talk with parents. I was able to talk with teachers and help to build that relationship and mend that relationship. Because a lot of time parents, they don't always believe in our teachers. And I know sometimes it's tough being in school, having your teachers tell you to do these things, and you're like, Mom, the teacher's tripping. How many of you have said that? No? You guys have perfect teachers? Y'all have perfect teachers? Okay. Okay. Right. But I can tell you, when you're feeling uncomfortable in a situation and you're learning new things, it gets uncomfortable. Sometimes we're going to think that it's the adults that's tripping because you don't know what you don't know. Okay? The adults, their job is to help push you to be your best self. And so, I can tell you some teachers are tough. Yes, they're unreasonable. But at the end of the day, it's your parents' job to come and have the conversation with the teachers to help build you up. And so, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Let me get some water, hold on. Yeah, I know. Sorry. Okay, I know. Going through the whole life and looking at things, there's so many things I'm like, oh yeah, that and this. But your parents are here for you. Okay, your guardians, they're here for you. And so there are times they're going to ask you to do things that you think there's no way. They're supposed to push you. Because remember, your job is to be your best self. Your job is to grow. Your job is to make sure that you're trying new things, even when you don't want to. This here, basketball, being part of a team, that's easy. But think about the hard things you have to do in your life. Think about the support that you're going to need in that. Because it's scary. When you try something new, how many of you, by a show of hands, how many of you are excited when you're trying something new that you don't know how to do? How many? Okay, I know, right? Exactly. And so here's the thing. Be okay with trying something new and not having the outcome that you want, right? So, hey, I want to try this and it didn't work out. Guess what? Come on, I've said it already.
Try it again. Do it again.
Do it again. You have to. So, like I said, I started at Rainier Beach. From Rainier Beach, I went to an alternative learning environment high school, working with students, helping to empower them. Now, the students in these environments, it's not a traditional school where it's, it's classrooms from classroom to classroom. It's online. And some of these students, they've had real tough backgrounds. And so your current situation doesn't dictate your future. The thing is that you have to have a goal, a dream, a plan for that. How many of you sit down and dream about what you'd like to do? By show of hands. Okay. So that's good. That's most of you. If you're not and haven't, you have to. Oh, how about this? How many of you dream of winning a championship? Right? Okay. So dreaming of winning a championship, think about this. What are you doing different outside of practice? Right? If you only go to practice when there's practice, then I encourage you to understand it starts not just at practice, it starts at home. It starts with doing the extra things. And so, for those who raised their hands and said, hey, I dream of a championship, guess what? It's not just practice, it's additional practice. It's going out and running stairs, going out and running hills, doing your push-ups and sit-ups, and getting shots up. Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So that extra practice is being intentional about it. Do you know what that means?
I see a hand up here.
Yes. You know,
Oh, like they actually doing it seriously and pushing yourself
yes.
and going like extra, like if you went like, so let's say you got 15 and 30 dribbles in 30 seconds, you went for like 30.
Yes. That's part of it. That's part of it. Anybody else want to add on to that? Yes. I like that. Practicing with the purpose. How old are you? Okay. I see. I didn't know that, practicing with the purpose, but yes. Anyone else? Come on. It means not having anyone tell you to go do it, but taking the initiative to go do it on your own. Asking your parents, your guardians, can you take me to the gym? I want to get some shots up. Can you take me to the track? I want to do some running. And trust me, running on the track helps with basketball. It helps with your quickness. It helps with your endurance. By a show of hands, do I have any multi-sport athletes in here? Okay. If you're not, that's okay. But I would encourage you to try something else too. Because where you are right now, it can only help build you. It can only help build different muscle groups to make sure you're not wearing out just one. Okay, parents, you hear me? Okay, you hear me? Get them in something else too. Help build them up, because all this on their body, all this wear, it's a lot.
And there's sports opposite basketball. So it can be basketball and something. Basketball and something.
Right, yeah. Yes, it's basketball and something, absolutely. Yes.
Compliment.
Yeah. There we go, Vanessa. Yes, there's coach. Yes. I am not telling you.
Quit basketball.
No. Do not do it. No, it's
Basketball and.
Yes.
Basketball and.
Yes. It is all about enhancing. And so now where I am, that's what I tell my students. I encourage them. I ask the question. There's a lot that play basketball. They tell me, oh, that's all I do. I say, okay, well, what about running track? Because you know what? Basketball is in the winter Track is in the spring. 2 different sports seasons. And it can only enhance you. It can only help you. And guess what? You build different sisterhood and friend groups with each sport that you participate in. I still have friends from my soccer team that I talk to. I still have friends from my track team that I talk to. I still have friends from my basketball team that I talk to. And so it can only enhance. That's it. It really does. And so for all of you, I would encourage you, 1, have a dream. Know that it's possible. Okay? The person that says I can and the person that says I can't, well, you're right. So that I can't, take it out of your vocabulary. Take it out. There's nothing that you can't do. There's nothing that you cannot do. It just may take more practice. It may take more time. But there is nothing that you cannot do. There is nothing that you cannot learn. Especially with this internet out here. That's the one beauty of the internet for me. You can look up, Google, YouTube, just about anything now, right? If you want to learn how to do something, you can look that up. I would encourage you to spend more time on those websites as opposed to Snapchats and not Twitter, what is it? Facebook? Thank you. TikTok, that one. Yes. Yes. Okay. Because again, it's a distraction from you. It is a distraction from you. And you all were created with your own giftings and talents unique to you. So your job is to build up you and tap into whatever gifts and talents you were given. How you are and how you were designed, you're not in control of any of that. Okay, that was your parents. And your parents aren't in control of that because that wasn't them. Okay? We all were created. The bodies that we were born into, right? We didn't have any control of that. But guess what you do have control of? Of how you build it up. Of how you take care of it. Of how you talk to it. And how you talk to each other. If you are part of a group, your job is to be not just your best self, but the best teammate you can be. The best encourager you can be. The best supporter you can be. The golden rule. Y'all know the golden rule? The golden rule? Somebody?
Treat others how you like.
Okay. I don't know if everybody... Yes.
Oh, it's a practice like you play?
That practice like you play, I like that. That, yes.
Go ahead.
How you want to be treated?
Yes. Golden rule. Did you hear that? Treat others how you want to be treated. Okay, that is the golden rule in all aspects of your life. And guess what? Sometimes we fall short. I've fallen short. And when I do, I own it, I apologize for it, and then I learn and I do better. Because that's all we can do. You will make mistakes in this life, but that doesn't define who you are. All right? So when you make a mistake, acknowledge it, own it, and then move past it. Because guess what mistakes are? I heard someone say it. Yes.
Something that you learn from?
Say it again.
Something that you learn from?
Bam. Okay. Something you learn from. When you make mistakes, that means you're out here attempting and trying. That means you are growing. If you never make a mistake, well, then you're probably not putting yourself outside of your comfort zone and you're not growing. And so for me, really, it's about having a dream. Okay. Living each day to get closer to that dream. Believing in yourself. What the mind conceives, the body will achieve. Can y'all say that?
What the mind sees, the body will achieve.
Okay. Do you know what that means? Yes.
Like whatever you think, you can do it or something.
Yes. Yes. Did you hear that? Whatever you think, you can do. What the mind conceives, the mind thinks, the body will achieve. Okay? You want that championship? Work. That's what it takes. Work. You can do it. Believe in it. See it. Work at it. Achieve it. You can do it. And so I'll leave you guys with that. There's more. Edwina mentioned that, or Coach mentioned that I'll be inducted to the WIA Hall of Fame. And what that is, that's the Washington Interscholastic Athletic Association. So that's the state governing body for all of, or for Washington State. And pretty much all middle schools and high schools that participate for a state tournament are member schools of the WIA. Rainier Beach, they are a member school of the WIA. All of my 11 high schools in Seattle and 22, well, not my middle schools, but my 11 high schools, they're member schools of the WIA. And I'm being recognized for my achievements and accomplishments, high school, collegiately, and then professionally. And now as the director of athletics. And so it's a huge honor for me. It's not something that I ever thought would happen. I didn't think about it. I did all of this work because it's in me to do. It's not for recognitions. It's not for accolades. It's not for so somebody can see me and say, oh, wow, hey, look at what you've done. Not at all. This is what's in me. This is what I've built up, and this is what I'm supposed to do. And so, like I said, it's a huge honor. It's humbling. When they called me about it, it was exciting. I didn't think about it. I said, wait, what? Oh, okay. Sure, thanks. Because I really needed to sit with it and say, you know, why me and why now? And someone nominated me. I'm not sure who did that, but I can tell you all of the work and looking back on it and reflecting, all of the work that I did, it wasn't to get this award. It was to be my best self. And so that's what I endeavor to do every day, is to be the best me that I can be. And there's some days it's tough. Some days you get up, and adults we know, some days it's just like, woo, I need a new day. But you know what you do? You put one foot in front of the other. You look at how you can be used to uplift someone else's life, and the day usually gets better. It does. But that's all I have to share, Coach.
Now, thank you so much. And I have to tell you, Tara has twins. Tara has twins, and she's celebrating their 17th birthday, and she made time to come here.
Yes.
Because it was so important to speak to you guys and share her knowledge. So